Hello, and welcome back to my series on my apartment renovation in Lviv, Ukraine at Avalon Zelena. It's we've had some very challenging weather here lately. It's made some delays. We had a snowstorm and it dumped like, I don't know, a meter of snow. It looks like that. I don't know, like 3 feet. It's traffic was all backed up and everything. So it gave us some minor setbacks. It's the time of this recording is in the February 2021. So it's it's definitely interesting weather right now. Uh, Mostly the project is done. I mean, I'm moved in and the repairs and cleanup is done. I suggest to do the project this way actually, to move in while some other things are still going on so you can get the repair people over. I'll explain a lot of what happened, but this was a wise move to move in before everything was completely done. As soon as the bathroom is done, you should move in so you can like figure out what the problems are and get the debugging done, which I'll get into later. We're still waiting on the window treatments. Those were supposed to actually have come in yesterday, but the weather delayed that, so that would have been done. And the kitchen, we're just waiting for the dishwasher electrical. They have to take the dishwasher out and plug it into the outlet behind the dishwasher. They missed that, and then that'll be completely done. And closets and shelves and cabinets now are the big thing. One of them will be installed next week, and then we have to design the closets for the bedroom and entry, on CAD, and then get that ordered. And that can take a little time. I think that is about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, after the designs to get that ordered. And it's been a little slow right now due to the COVID and the weather, but maybe things will pick up in the spring. Furniture is going to be an ongoing process, but I would consider it done, I think, when I get one more piece for the my office, home office, that I have a pull-out sofa. But then most of that will also be complete. An AC unit will be done in the spring, and I'll make a piece on that. When the weather warms up, it's better to do that in the warm weather and when you can test it. All right, so repairs and move in. So the things that you got to do is changing the locks, electrical and temperature control settings, the water filters. We had them installed early on, but they get gunked up, so we had to do some work on the water filtration system. Wall repairs, things got dinged up and knocked up. The contractors, they don't live here, so they're focused on one thing, and things inevitably get busted up a little bit, so there's going to be some repair work. I think that's one of the downsides about doing a project remote control, and it's a bit overwhelming for the project manager to always watch the workers all the time, but you can catch these things when you're present. If I open the firm, or when I open the firm, it's something I'll be very mindful of to make sure that we don't have to do rework. There was some touch-up painting. There was a lot of dust, and that kind of, messed up the paint a little bit, so we had to do some touching up. I wouldn't say it messed it up a lot. It just was some small dust got stuck to the blue paint, the colorful paint. You can't see it on the white paint, so there was some touch-up cleaning, touch-up painting done there. And a lot of cleanup and debris removal, and then a domophone, which is the intercom, was installed. So this is the changing the locks. The stock locks you get, they got chewed up pretty bad, and then they have a knockout for a top lock, so you can have double locks, which I suggest in Ukraine. Especially if you want to be a landlord, you give the bottom key to the tenant, and then you keep the top key for yourself in case they're not paying rent or something, and you got to take control of your apartment, or just to have extra security. So the lock that comes from the building company got chewed up pretty quick. They open and close, and it basically fell apart. You had to, the door handle fell apart, so you had to use the lock to hold the door shut. So we got all that fixed, and you can see things got chewed up pretty good. So you can see the guy came over, and a lot of sparks and fire and all that. It doesn't cost too terribly much here. It was like $50 for the lock and labor to get all this done. It wasn't so bad, and he even took me to the shop and let me choose the locks. So yeah, everything, looks really nice to have the two lock system. This is where the intercom goes. You can see here you'll see that'll fill in later. Um, and then you have now what happened when I moved in, the uh, um, the heating went out. Uh, the settings, I thought the boiler totally went out, but it wasn't the boiler, it was the electronic controller. And the boiler has a programming in it as well, that the boiler has like it's semi-electronic. It needed to be programmed. So Igor, the electrician, came over and he took care of all this. But I was out of hot water and heat for like about a day and a half, and it was really cold. It got cold real fast. It was just before Christmas. It was it wasn't a pleasant experience, but I wouldn't have picked this up if I hadn't moved in. It's hard for them, because it would run in short bursts and then everything would shut down, and so they don't notice it. But when you're living overnight and then you notice that the heat and the hot water don't work, that then you can catch it and call them up right away. So this is like an electronically controlled floor heating system, and so the programming has to be done and the wiring has to be done precisely. Also, another problem we had is the power surges. So the electrical governor here automatically shuts off the electricity when the power surges over like 248. I had this set down to like 240 or 242, but your appliances can actually handle temporary surges up to like 248. And then if it goes over that, all the electricity shuts off, and then this device will keep trying every 10 seconds to turn back on and check the electricity to make sure the voltage is within range. So we also have a low voltage setting as well, I think of 210. So you should ideally be between 220 and 240. And I would say between 220 and 230 is probably the best place to be, but you can go as high as 240. Electricity in Ukraine is a mess, so you should invest in a good electrical panel to keep your electrics in order, and have this automatic shutdown when you have voltage spikes. The other thing we had to fix is like we had a lot of the water pressure in our building is strange. I live on a low floor, so I have very high pressure. And then the people on the high floors have a low pressure problem. So I had to have a pressure reducer installed. And again, you don't catch this until you're actually living in the apartment and going through the motions of daily life. So the plumber came over and installed the pressure reducer, and I think that'll actually even help the neighbors upstairs, giving them more pressure, pushing the pressure to the upper floors. And you want good things for your neighbors because that affects your apartment value. And we also replaced the water filters, under sink water filters, which you've seen in other videos. But you see they just make a clean cut and put some fittings, and they put this piece here. It was really easy. The other thing here that I really was happy about is that we got the balconies repaired. This whole thing was, when they took out the railings and put the glass, they a lot of damage took place. And obviously that contractor isn't a mason or a plaster guy. He's just putting in the glass, as you can see here. But Yuri came along. You've seen his picture in some other videos, and he just repaired everything as if it was like new. I mean, it was wonderful work. I mean, I just have no complaints. And but it is a step. This is a step that has to be taken care of in the project plan. This is just a reality of life that, the contractors have a very narrow focus, and then you have to call another contractor to clean up after the first contractor. This is just the way it is. So that has to be accounted for in the project plan. The other thing we did is got that gas line. Someone asked in the comments like what we're doing to hide the gas line. This part will be hidden behind a cabinet, the bookcase and TV stand that's coming that'll be built into the wall, and then the rest of this is like behind a molding, but you still have to have it exposed, I think legally, so that the gas company can access it. So if there was an issue, we'd probably have to tear away this molding, and that would be a mess. But at least for now, I don't think anything will happen to the gas line for the next maybe 10 or 50 years, unless there's some earthquake or something. Then I'll have bigger problems. But yeah, we got that painted up. It's not that navy gray like I commented in a previous video, like looking like a navy ship. It's looking like a proper pipe now in a house. So it'll be all concealed eventually. The other big one was getting the plaster dust and tiles cleaned up. I wish this would have been done earlier. And if I was present, and if I become a general contractor, that's something I'll be very mindful is to clean up after each project phase, that so the next one can begin. But it took a lot of work, and we had to steam out all of the plaster dust out of the grout. And it turned out pretty well. It took her a long time. Actually, I went through 3 different cleaners. She was the first one to have the steam machine. The other ones were just, that's a very other problem in Ukraine is finding people who know how to clean and have the right equipment. They think that the more hours I work, the more they get paid. But actually, if they come with the right equipment and they can do an 8-hour job in 2 hours, they can actually charge a little bit more on a per hour basis and complete more jobs every day. So there's a bit of a mentality issue you have to deal with here. And when I start my general contracting company, I'll probably have a cleaning arm, industrial cleaning or a construction cleaning arm, because I don't think anyone else can do it. But Sergey, one of my friends here, and I are talking about doing that because there is good equipment out there. It's even available in Ukraine, but no one's really doing this for like the home use that we can see. So yeah, and here's these water filters, that go under the sink. Now, the other major achievement, I was really struggling to get this tape off the glass, and I think the contractor said there's they needed to steam it off, but that lady who was cleaning in the previous picture, she got tired and had to go, so I was postponing that. But then Yuri took care of this. I don't know how he did it, how he got all this plastic wrapping off the windows, but everything looks really great. Now that this is really hard to take off, and you should keep this on all the way till the end because it does protect your windows. And yeah, finally we got the intercom installed. They have many options. They have a video one that you can use your Android phone. So if you're away from your house, you can let people in to the building at least. I don't know. I don't have the keys. I don't have electronic locks to let people in the apartment remotely. Still old-fashioned keys, but they didn't have that. That one was too expensive. Then there was a plain video domophone or intercom, but the one that was in white color, which I wanted, was out of stock, so I just went with this voice one. So they just call and they tell who they are and you let them in, and you can set it to night mode. So if people are kids are playing out on the doing ding dong ditch or something, you don't have to take those calls. You can just set the night mode and then you're not taking calls, so you won't be disturbed, or people at the door. So, yeah, this is Igor, the electrician, who saved me on just before Christmas when we had the the electronic issues, the control issues on the heating and gas. So he got me my hot water back. This is Yarina. You've seen her in the other videos, the chief designer and project manager. And this is Igor's friend. This picture was taken when they installed the bathroom mirrors, LED lighting. So it's a good crew. The Yuri is not in this picture, but he's in some other pictures, I think, in some other videos. But they do a good job overall. I have to say I'm happy, but you still have to manage the project yourself to some degree. I mean, for managing this remote, doing this all the way from Norway during the COVID, this is remarkable. The work that this is a remarkable achievement. I'm very happy. I'm living in the apartment now, and it's been done quite good. And I think in due time I'll open a general contracting company down here. I'm just trying to put some pieces together and help other foreign people or even Ukrainians, get their apartments done. We've already done some small consulting work for another client, so it's already bearing fruit. And we've learned a lot from this, and we'd like to share this experience with other people so that they can live comfortably. All of the people in this video are very passionate about the work. They're not only doing it for a living, but they're doing it because they really like to do this, and they really like to. They're perfectionists and like to achieve things. So I think give them a chance, and you'll be very satisfied. Anyway, that's all I have for today, and then the next videos will be coming, I think, on my next visit. So thank you. Bye-bye.